Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is BestInSlot and welcome to the Jurassic World Evolution 2 Dominion Malta Expansion, a brand new upcoming expansion to Jurassic World Evolution 2 coming on the 8th of December. This is a full-fledged expansion with new campaign levels, with 3 new maps, several new species and some new skins, and a new building set as well. This is clearly on the same scale as the Biosyn expansion we had earlier this year. Most of us predicted we were going to eventually get this. You know, this felt like it was a long time coming, especially given the lack of a Velociraptor in the other pack. Very excited. We're going to check out the trailer and then I'm going to show you some beautiful screenshots and some more information from the Steam page. Let's get started. So, first things first, of course we are in Malta, the setting of the black market scenes in Jurassic World Dominion. 3 new maps, as I say. Don't know if they're all set on Malta, but probably. But at least they'll hopefully mix things up in terms of their backdrop and space to build and stuff like that. And as you can see, we've already got this kind of Malta-inspired architecture in the distance, kind of like we had with our The Lost World Jurassic Park Chaos Theory San Diego map as well, which is pretty cool. And we're going to see a lot. So all new story, I say there's 3 new campaign missions, which is actually 1 more than we got with the Biosyn expansion. Again, that introduces a new poacher mechanic. I'm really hoping Black Market, you know, could be a new mechanic in and of itself. Hopefully they've pushed the gameplay a little bit in that regard. So, yeah, really, I'm kind of surprised they've done this. One of the things I was hesitant about a Malta expansion was I didn't know how the buildings would work. And I tell you what, they've just bloody gone for it. I'm really impressed. Like, we've got this kind of ramshackle brick / rusted metal kind of vibe going on. You can see if we look here at the helipad, constructed on this sort of rusted metal, these bars and these plates of metal, it looks very similar to the building materials that Owen and Claire in particular, when they were getting chased by the Velociraptors through the streets of Malta. It looks like the kind of scaffolding they were driving through. So that's a really nice throwback to the film. We can see some gates here as well. We've got lots of this brick architecture, several different types of building, even our viewing areas here. We've got that kind of sunny stone sort of colouring on the top, layered with that rusted metal, and then some brick at the sides as well. You can see what looks to be a visitor shelter there on the left, and another viewing area over there, and then I don't know what these buildings are. I'm hoping this is a wall as well. Maybe we get a brick wall, possibly. This looks like a brick wall, maybe some inlet of glass in there, potentially. We'll have a wait and see. You see our aviary over there in the distance. Looks like, again, we're going to get a new aviary as well. Again, looks very similar to the classic Jurassic Park one, but it's made out of this sort of crimson-y rusted metal instead. And some new trees as well, some really cool desert-looking trees. This is definitely a new tree over here on the left-hand side. Really exciting, lots of new building opportunities. Yet another set that you'll have to choose if you're on the old consoles, but for those of us on PC or modern-day consoles, yet more building options, always really appreciated. Let's see what else we can see. 3 new islands. Interesting that they say islands, but I guess it's Malta and then a couple of islands off Malta. I would expect everything to be like a desert kind of theme. Anyways, our first of the new species we're going to see, this is, of course, the Lystrosaurus, our second non-dinosaur terrestrial creature, I guess, after the Dimetrodon. So that's really exciting to see. Yeah, I always felt we'd get the Velociraptor back because it made too much sense to not have the Velociraptor, but Lystrosaurus was definitely one of the ones I was worried we wouldn't get into the game, and it looks like we definitely have. There are 4 new species in total. We'll come to those bit by bit, but a Velociraptor and Lystrosaurus are 2 of them. And it looks fantastic, by the way. There it is. Leonard, as it's been dubbed by the community, looks exactly like it does in the film, which for this kind of expansion, that is precisely what you want. Yeah, don't have much else to say on that. It looks utterly bizarre. It's going to really stand out. It may replace Homalocephale or as my go-to, he's the creature that we get murdered. What I'm really curious about in part is actually if it's going to use those tusks at all when it comes to its feeding animation. That'd be really interesting. So there's our Oviraptor. We're going to see all these in higher quality in just a minute, so don't worry too much about that. It's fantastic to see again. Didn't really have a big part in the film, of course. We saw it during the prologue and it popped up a little bit later on, but has a really beautiful design with this black striping down this really evocative white feathering. The feathering is really, really nicely done. This crest at the back and then it splays out along the tails there and a little bit at the back of the arms, as you can see as well. And again, it looks like it's plucked right from the film, which is very much what we want. As always, I'm very excited, especially with Lystrosaurus. I don't know how, if we just go back to the Lystro, looks like it's from the film, it's brown and slightly boring. How are they going to do that the Frontier version, because the Frontier version of these dinosaurs has been really good in the past. The Pyroraptor was incredible with the Frontier skins. Very curious what they'll do with the Listro. I'd love to see some patterning on the crest. I think that'd be really interesting. So we've got a Listro, we've got Oviraptor, we've got a Trociraptor, which you'll see in a sec. Also, not a new species technically, but we do finally have, people have been asking for it for so long. It is the Battle at Big Rock Allosaurus. Only really, well, it appeared in a few things, but either way, it's the Battle at Big Rock Allosaurus. Now, personally, I think Frontier's Allosaurus is much better than the Battle at Big Rock version, but people love this one. So for those of you who do love it, that's very exciting. You see, it's much slimmer, much sleeker. It's got a really sort of skeletal face. Again, we'll see this in a bit more detail in a second. It's a lot spikier. It looks a lot more like a terrifying movie monster rather than a real dinosaur. Again, I think Frontier's version is actually better, but the this is cool. It's more variety, it's more options, and I know loads of people have been really excited about this, so that's cool to see. And there is our Atrociraptor Ghost, I believe, is this one. So you're going to get the Atrociraptor with the 4 movie skins. And there they are. Dominion Malta Expansion coming on the 8th of December. I want to address this very briefly before we hop into the Steam page. Some people will see this as parceling out DLC to try and get more money from people. I think if this was just a dinosaur pack, I would maybe be tempted to agree, because it did feel like the Dominion Biosyn expansion was a little empty, lacking things like the Atrociraptor. However, with 3 new maps, a whole new building set, 3 new campaign missions, and a bunch of new dinosaurs and some new skins, which we'll see in a second, I think that would be a fairly harsh criticism, personally. But, that is completely up to you. It's very much an individual thing. At the end of the day, it's your money and how you spend it. Now, there's a few dinosaurs you haven't seen yet. They look utterly beautiful. Let's go check out the Steam page. Right, here we are. Let's check out some new screenshots first of all. So we're going to see those 4 Atrociraptor skins in much more detail. Again, Atrociraptor in the film never excited me that much. It felt a bit needless, but they do look really good in game. They actually look fantastic. We get a really nice view as well of this. I'm really curious what this metal thing is here on the right, by the way. What is this? I actually have no idea. Interesting. We get a really nice view of these Maltese buildings in the background, which look really, it's got a bit of a sort of White House kind of vibe to it. It looks really nice, actually. Really clearly more detailed than the San Diego buildings we got, so maybe it'll feel like you're building more as part of the actual city, which would be really cool. I really like this tiger skin in particular, which of course is inspired by the Lost World Jurassic Park Velociraptors, and does look pretty phenomenal. And again, I think give these some Frontier skins as well in particular, and we could be in for something pretty special with the Atrocies. But there is better stuff to come. So here we get a nice overview of some of the buildings. We can see the helipad in full details, and every building has this kind of, as in village, city-ish sort of constructed style to it, which I really like. We see our veterinary there over on the right-hand side. Not seeing any new paths. It's definitely something I'd like to see in the future, is new paths. And you'll also see, however, down here we have a whole new mechanic. We will hear more about this in a minute, but basically you can see there what looks to be a differentiation between herbivores and carnivores. 22 herbivores, 9 carnivores. Maybe that's not a new mechanic, maybe that's just telling you how many dinosaurs you have in your park, but I suspect it's tied in with the mechanics we'll see in a minute. Next up, we have our Oviraptor in lots more detail, looking fairly terrified at the world. We've got a new Carnotaurus skin. So we had the Toro skin earlier in the year with the Camp Cretaceous pack, and now this is what's been called the Demon Carnotaurus, the one that you see at the end of Fallen Kingdom, and then attacks and fights with the Allosaurus, and they had that whole battle hyped up kind of thing. Pretty cool skin for those of you who are into it. A little bit more view of the maps itself. So we're going to be building, interestingly enough, it looks like we'll be building right by the coast. This is really interesting, actually. So this doesn't look like we're building by the coast. These look sort of like viewing areas, but I don't think they are. I think there's like a docking/shipping mechanic, probably tied in with the black market. Again, we'll talk about that more in just a second. I'm seeing some textural updates as well in the grass, in the foliage on the ground. This sort of area around here looks really nice and detailed. Yeah, it's looking pretty. Looking pretty. And we've got a little... What is this over here? That's really interesting. Maybe it's just path work. It looks unique, though. And we have a Dimorphodon. That's a new 2022 version of the Dimorphodon. Not going to lie, didn't realise Dimorphodon in Dominion was any different. But the cool thing is, it's got much more in the pycnofiber sort of department. And it looks a little bit less like a gremlin. It looks different. I don't know how I totally feel about it, but we also get a really good look at this new aviary as well, which, as you can see, again has that sort of rusted metal. It's kind of like girders kind of strung together, and it gives it a kind of roughly hewn hamstrung kind of vibe, which I think is actually really cool. I'm very much into that. Iguanodon, this is honestly the one I might be most excited about, weirdly enough. Never mind the new species. We get a new skin for the Iguanodon, the 2022 skin from the start of Jurassic World Dominion from the prologue, and it really does look fantastic. It looked fantastic in the prologue, it looks beautiful here in game. They've done a phenomenal job of bringing it to life in the game, as they always do. Yeah, looks pretty great. Really excited to try that one out, because the Iguanodon in the game I like, but I feel the patterning in particular and the texture work is a little bit boring. I'm hoping as well the Frontier skins on this one are top notch, because this will be officially the Iguanodon. Wait, no, they wouldn't have Frontier skins, it's the skin. Damn it! But either way, this will probably still be the Iguanodon that I use. Number 8, there we go. We've got a closer look at our BABR Allosaurus there. You can see what I mean. It's got a much more monstrous kind of look. It's way slimmer than the... oh, this is a broken fence. Probably what I saw before. It's much slimmer than the Frontier version. It's got much bigger sort of crests above the eyes, more spiking sort of osteoderms down there along the back as well. It does look pretty good. It looks pretty sweet. It's just... I prefer the evolution one, but hey, more options, always a good thing. And there's a good look at the Atrociraptor as well. There's a Ghost, right? That's what it's called. Love the red eyes as well. Look, like that they're concentrating on that. We had that issue with the Jurassic Park 3 Velociraptors for so long, so it's cool to see the Atrociraptors get a bit of attention in that deal. Right, let's check out some information. So we'll zoom in a little bit. We can find out some info about what we're going to be doing. Set before the dramatic events of Universal Pictures and Amblin Entertainment's Jurassic World Dominion, you'll head to the warmth of the Mediterranean and attempt to manage multiple dinosaur facilities across 3 locations. Discover spectacular new prehistoric species, 3 new islands, detailed Malta-inspired buildings, and an all-new campaign in Jurassic World Evolution 2 Dominion Malta Expansion. So it's actually a prologue to Dominion, which is interesting because the Biosyn expansion felt more like a alternate timeline, I guess, to Dominion, whereas this maybe frees them up to have a bit more fun with the story. New campaign experience. Before the events of Jurassic World Dominion, help lead a brand new enterprise in Malta. Work alongside Cabot Finch, of course, and key figures from the film, including Kayla Watts, voiced by DeWanda Wise, Soyona Santos, voiced by Daikon Lockman, Barry Sambene, voiced by Omar Sy, and Lewis Dodgson, voiced by Campbell Scott. So 4 of the Dominion cast are coming back for this expansion. Really excited. Actually, really excited to see Soyona back as well. I felt like she was an interesting potential of a character. Some people were hyping her up as like the best villain the series has ever had. She was on screen for about 5 seconds. So it would be really nice to see her expanded as a character, considering that's not something we're getting. Actually, set up parks across 3 Mediterranean locations, establish key buildings, trade on the dinosaur exchange to acquire more species, eggs, and even genome data. Work with both the underground and authorities, feels like maybe 2 different factions there, and build trust with these organisations via various actions to unlock further opportunities such as hatchery upgrades, locations, and more. There's a possibility that the green and red symbol we saw was underground would be the red one for the carnivores and authorities would be the green one with the sauropod. Create all new parks containing a range of exciting buildings with a film-inspired theme, including the new acquisition centre. So, clearly some new mechanic that we're going to be using with these authorities in the underground to acquire our species, viewing gallery, hotel, and more. Excited to see the hotel, actually. Seat your Ranger, MVU, and Capture teams in new style vehicles, like that, and add fresh new decorations to make your park stand out. Build across 3 new locations set in the Mediterranean, one of which boasts a natural lagoon. So that thing I just showed you where I thought it might be a trading thing at the ocean is actually... No, it's a lagoon. It's. I thought there were viewing areas there by the water. Turns out that is the case. That's very exciting. So there's going to be a lagoon built into your park by default with a much more natural rock formation, much more natural shapes, and you'll be able to release your aquatic creatures into that lagoon and utilize it as part of your park build. That sounds pretty fantastic. Very excited to check that out. All Malta buildings available in Sandbox. Good stuff. New prehistoric species and skins host 4 captivating dinosaurs as seen in Jurassic World Dominion, faithfully created to mirror their film counterparts. These iconic prehistoric species are ready to give guests an unforgettable experience. Furthermore, Jurassic World Evolution 2 Dominion Malta Expansion features stunning new variants of existing species and additional film skins, so you can give your dinosaurs a bold new look with different patterns and colours. The pack contains, so we've got the Atrociraptor with 4 movie squad skins. We've got the list. Am I going to read these out? I am. Arguably even more dangerous than its Velociraptor cousins, the Atrociraptor has a bulkier body and boxier snout. The coloration varies wildly between individuals. We've also got Lystrosaurus, a short, squat herbivore with powerful forelimbs and an unusually shaped skull that lived around 250 million years ago. Lystrosaurus is notable for its tusks and horned beak, used to bite bits of vegetation. So I mentioned that already, so hopefully that's featured in the animations. Oviraptor, a smaller predator with a distinctive head crest. The Oviraptor has a unique feathered look, very stylish on the red carpet. Originally believed to steal eggs of other dinosaurs, it was dubbed the egg thief, but it has since been understood to be an omnivore with a powerful jaw for its size. Fair play, Frontier. It really annoys me how every time, even in Dominion, I'm not saying that Oviraptor didn't eat eggs, because it probably did. It just surely did. But every media showcase of Oviraptor shows it as like breaking into eggs and stealing eggs and stuff like that, even though the original find was misunderstood and it's just stuck in, you know, cultural membrane. It's not the word I was looking for there. Memory. Morus intrepidus. So another new species. We haven't seen the Morus yet. Morus, not Morus. I love the design of the Morus. Again, it's feathered. It's a fully feathered Tyrannosaurid. Tiny little fully feathered Tyrannosaurid. Going to look fantastic, I think. Really excited to see that one. A diminutive carnivore and one of the smallest Tyrannosaurids to have ever existed, the Morus intrepidus is only a fraction of the size of its famous relative, the T-Rex. Despite its short stature, it is known to be a quick and nimble hunter. It's interesting that these are all Atrociraptor, Lystrosaurus, Oviraptor, but with Morus, it's Morus intrepidus. They give the genus and the species. And then we've got the Iguanodon, Dimorphodon, and Allosaurus, as we've said. Interesting that it's called 2022. I guess it was in Dominion. Yeah. And 2022's Carnotaurus as well. So, very exciting stuff. Not only, by the way, do we find out all this, but there's actually tons of information on the free update that's going to come along, which we're going to talk about very, very soon as well. But that's not all, folks. We've got a little bit more information. Credit to the actual Jurassic World Evolution 2 website, the Frontier website. First of all, we can see the key art, which looks pretty phenomenal. And yeah, so a lot of this is a repeat. There we go, there's a little information. All of the dinosaurs included in the pack come with 12 body colour and 7 skin patterns each, so confirmation will get some unique variety there. Atrociraptor is the same, Lystrosaurus is basically the same. Yep, Oviraptor, about the same. Morus intrepidus. Oh, and we get... Oh, I didn't even see this. We get our Morus intrepidus picture. It's a little bit blurry because they've only given a small screenshot, but there you go. You've got your small, fully feathered Tyrannosaurid. It looks really good. I'm so glad they're leaning into the feathers. What I'm praying for is that they do this not just when it's necessary for a film look. You know, that they bring in these feathered dinosaurs all the time for their own expansions, for their own dinosaur packs. Morus looks absolutely beautiful. It really does. That full feathered look is really cool on a small Tyrannosaurid. Looks like the film counterpart, which you don't get a super good look at anyway. But I think that looks really... Even despite the low quality, I think that looks fantastic. Very excited to get that one in game. Oh, and nice little bonus here. The Iguanodon 2022 variant will also be getting 12 new body colours and 7 new patterns. So it will have both a film version and, because it's a whole new model, whereas the others are smaller changes, yada yada, it's going to be getting a whole new Frontier set of patterns as well, which is really, really exciting because I love it so much. I love the new shaping. Very excited to see Frontier's version of that. So this is the bit I wanted to talk about. So the campaign here gives us a little bit more information. That's all the stuff we've kind of heard before. New species will be acquired via Dinosaur Exchange, where you'll also be able to find eggs and genome data. No expeditions or fossil extractions here. Make your mark and develop a profitable network of parks, utilising brand new Malta buildings and decorations. Interesting, it says profitable network of parks. That does suggest maybe multiple parks will kind of exist in tandem, and you'll have to work on all of them in order to progress. You'll be required to work with both the underground and authorities, building trust with these organisations via various actions to unlock further opportunities such as hatchery upgrades, locations and more. Progress is persistent across all 3 locations, there you go, including your research. Switch between them on the fly or even move dinosaurs from one island to the other. Money and scientists will be independent per island though, so you'll need to ensure each one is running as well as possible to complete the campaign. You'll unlock these 3 locations during campaign mode and will also be able to enjoy all of them in sandbox mode, as well as the new buildings and decorations. Right, so we're going to talk about Update 5 in a little bit, but we can see a little bit here. Increase your trust with the authorities, increase your park rating, increase per minute profit. I'm imagining, generally speaking, it's going to be a fairly normal gameplay loop for the game, but hopefully the addition of the authorities and everything else kind of mixes things up and makes things a little bit more interesting. Either way, it looks like a really interesting expansion. I love the dinosaur designs. I love 3 new maps. I love the idea of that natural lagoon. That's actually like really stuck in my head as an exciting thing. Love that we're getting all these different dinosaurs. We're going to talk very quickly about Update 5 in the next video. This one's already gone on long enough, but there you go. That's everything coming on the 8th of December via the new Dominion Malta Expansion. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What are you most excited for in this expansion? And I'll see you lovely folks very soon for a look at Update 5. Thanks for joining me. Throw me a like down below. Cheers much as always. Bye-bye.
you're ready, we'll maneuver.